Welcome to the Launch Button Podcast, where we unlock the secrets of successful entrepreneurs and real estate investors who found the courage to hit the launch button and take control of their destiny. Join me, Hugh Zaretsky, best-selling author, seasoned real estate investor, and serial entrepreneur, as we dive deep into inspiring stories and invaluable lessons that will empower you to break free from the ordinary and pursue your true passions. Are you feeling trapped in a job that drains your passion and leaves you yearning for more? Are you ready to accelerate your business and or real estate investing to take it to the next level? It's time to ignite your dreams and embrace the limitless possibilities that life has to offer. Get ready to launch into the life you've always desired by pressing the launch button. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Launch Button, where we help people launch their careers or take it to the next level. And today, we've got an amazing speaker and trainer and actor and creator online, a little bit of everything he's done. He's a true serial entrepreneur. Dean Aguilar comes to us. He's based in LA. So for everybody on the West Coast there, make sure you give him a big shout out. And I got the chance to meet him about 2 years ago. We've been building a relationship and being able to do that. And Dean, tell everybody a little bit about your background, because you've got a unique story of how you started and how you ended up here.
Hugh, that was a fantastic intro, my man. I appreciate you. I have to take you everywhere as my hype man.
I got you.
This is good, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's again, Dean Aguilar. I hope everybody's tuning into Hugh's podcast. He's killing it over here. But I started my real estate career 24 years ago. Actually, I am originally from the East Coast, DC boy, born and raised. And I had the opportunity to learn quite a bit over those years from a good mentor of mine. I rode that hard time through 2008. As you'll hear, a lot of stories. I've been in this business for a while. And in all honesty, Hugh, I was younger. And so I got kicked in the face quite a bit because I was spending some dumbass money. I was buying things that I shouldn't have at a young age, if you can imagine. But, after that, I met my wife and we moved to California and decided to start over. We didn't know anyone here. We left. We knew we wanted the beach because we were tired of really being in the state of mind where we were. And, we started from scratch. And I would say over the last 8 years, our business has completely exploded. We went from zero to we currently have 132 agents and doing north of 650 million in production here in California. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the agents that have, built our company and building their business. And during that whole time, I actually had an opportunity to launch my career in acting and entertainment. I have, to share with you, I think a lot of folks have like different passions in life. And Hugh, especially in acting, right? It's something that I've always wanted to do. My mom actually used to put me in plays and, believe it or not, would send me on auditions for commercials when I was like 11, which is, by the way, I'm old. So it's a long time ago, guys.
Not that old, come on.
But, those things come and go, and I'll be happy to share you that story, later on. When you're growing up with a single mom and things like that, and money is rough, actually no money, those passions sometimes have to go away because you now have to make money. And it just so happened that I was good at connecting with people and building a real estate business. So that got pushed to the wayside like for a long time. Now that the business is established, I had an opportunity over the last 4 or 5 years to start my career. And that's exactly what I've done. And, to some degree, I've had some successes and definitely some learning lessons, but here I am. Now I'm on Hugh's podcast, ready to go and ready to talk to everyone here.
Dean's super humble, if you guys haven't picked that up yet, just because he didn't really tell you, he's exited, he's built a real estate business, he exited, right? Made a significant amount of money, and now he rebuilt. So the fact that he has over 130 some odd agents right now, he sold his first business and rebuilt it again. And so it's not just that. And, being a little modest, that he has over 2.1 million followers, right, on Instagram and stuff like that. So he's being humble here. And that's what's awesome about Dean.
He's very humble. His wife is awesome as well, Aphrodite, and they got a great family there and the kids and stuff like that. And that 2008, 2010 crash took a lot of people out and made us humble for those of us
Yeah.
that were in the real estate business at that time. Because we thought, I mean, I had the same experience. Our investments were doubling, tripling.
Yep.
And my buddy was like, let's sell some. And I was like, nah, don't keep going. Right. We got stupid money coming
Oh
in.
yeah.
We're millionaires.
Even though we saw the signs, we just, you wanted to look, let's just call it what it is. We were greedy at the time, man. We wanted to get as much as we humanly can, ride this thing. And yeah, it didn't end up working that way, Hugh.
Yeah.
Things changed on us on a dime. But yeah, no, I'm with you. And, again, I think a lot of people who are in this industry kind of felt that as we were going through. But, in all honesty, Hugh, there's a lot smarter people that have rode that than I did. I didn't go into, short sales or anything like that at that time. I honestly thought I could save the business. And I did. And it was hundreds of thousands of dollars that I was doing, still paying some of my agents in DC, and all of that went away. 2 houses went away, and we got left with nothing. And I realized I was an idiot for not learning a whole nother side of this business. And I paid for it, to be honest with you. And that's why we had to start over completely. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying but there's a lot of learning lessons during the whole thing.
But that's the thing. That's the entrepreneur roller coaster, right? Which most people don't think. And that's why a lot of people are afraid to follow their passions and launch their careers, is because of that. And
Right.
because we've gone through the learning curves, as I like to call it, right?
Yep.
We've
Yep.
made not, but we've had the learning curves, right? We now get to see the signs and are definitely better, smarter on the backside of that. And now you've
100%.
created multi-million-dollar worth of income. You've done all those things. What is a lesson or two that you would like to share with people that are just starting out, maybe into the real estate space, or just launching their new business, becoming new agents, whatever it happens to be, to just sort of give them a few pointers on how to get started and keep going?
There's some smart ass people that are listening to this, right? And for everyone, I think we've all gone through something very similar, at least at some point, our career. And that is the word ego. It is very tough sometimes to not think that you're the shit and no one can do it better than you. And it all has to be about you. And I learned that lesson a long time ago. And for me, and I'm sure Hugh, you can relate to this, I felt invincible. I felt like no one was going to beat me in sales. I was almost arrogant to that point. And when I started a team, in all honesty, the team was about me. It was about me. It was about how many sales I can do and tell as many people as I could that I'm doing this, and please look at me and look at my numbers. And, it's taken me a time to get rid of that person. And during that time, the one thing that I definitely learned is it's impossible, obviously, to scale without good people around you. But most importantly, empowering the people around you to, be okay to make mistakes and be okay not to do everything. Because at the end of the day, when people are happy around you, they feel appreciated. They feel invested in the company. And that ultimately will grow the company without you having to do anything different other than caring. That's it. And that is the biggest lesson I think I've learned. Obviously, there's quite a few others, but my biggest lesson is hokey as it sounds, is changing people's lives. And kind of leaning into people's greatness, because I don't know everything. Matter of fact, half the shit that's on my team and my company right now, I'll tell you, I haven't come up with it. Now, I had the baseline, right, of what I thought and the structure and anything that used today, right? But a lot of the systems and processes do not come from my wife and I. They come from the people that are, surrounding us in our company.
Well, and I think that's one of the great things with you and your wife is you stay in your sort of, we call it the zone of genius. A lot of people have, like, you're like, I know I do this well. I know I don't do that well. So I'm willing to learn. Yeah. I think that comes from the different learning mistakes and stuff like that. So which brokerage are you with now?
Well, we partnered with, we had our own independent actually for a very long time. And I'll share with you, again, it's been so many years, and a lot of people that have owned brokerages, independents, or solo agents, they a part of like different companies, Keller Williams, Remax, whatever it is, all great companies. When you're an independent owner, there's only so much that you can offer your agents, because in all honesty, guys, margins are nothing. It is, I make more money just going out and selling houses. Like it's just a pain in the ass. It's a good idea to have. Ancillary services is pretty much what's going to help your business, right? But when you're capped at what you can offer an agent, then obviously you need to start thinking about partnerships. And I had an opportunity to, look, truth be told, we do a lot of volume, so there's a lot of offers being out there. If you can imagine, 7-figure checks are being thrown to come and partner with people because it's just so much volume, which again, I'm proud of. But for us, we had to find the right fit for my team culturally. And I will share with you this, and some of your listeners will appreciate this, but I don't hire off production at all, like zero. Matter of fact, I had an interview. You'll appreciate this, Hugh. I interviewed a husband and wife team end of last year who did over 70 deals, a year. And especially with San Diego prices, it's a good amount of money. But they wanted to join the team, but like literally 3 minutes into the conversation, the interview was over because they were so jaded, right, of the industry. And it was just nothing but negativity. And it's just not a cultural fit for us, so anything that we were going to partner with really had to fit. We even go down to like saying I love you after every training and sessions. And again, some people think that's hokey, but people don't leave. Our attrition is great. Like people don't leave our team. So we've partnered with a company called Real. Now it's growing. Some people may know it. Some people may not. But there is massive, massive growth. They're growing somewhere in the range of 1,000 to 1,200 per month right now, which is a lot. And it aligned very, very so of our core values. But most importantly, going back to what we were able to offer, they can offer something much more than I could have ever offered. And very few companies out there can, like stock and rev share and all the tech, which is driven by AI. I'll go on and on about Pritesh and the CTO, but it's incredible. And honestly, man, for my agents to pay $12K, I don't want to cuss, but that shit's very low. Like it's very low. You get so much for 12 grand. I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? It's a no-brainer for us. So that's the reason why we partner with them. It's been 2 years. I've been blessed that a lot of teams and brokerages have partnered with me to come over to Real. We have close to 3,000 people in my private network, which is great. But most importantly, those people are plugged into Real as a community as a whole. So it isn't like they're just playing with me, in our little sandbox. They get to play with all of Real and mastermind and share ideas. And, we've had the opportunity, Hugh, to been on quite a few different things. And, that's the reason why we went over there.
Yeah. And, that's how we met through Sharon, who's actually now this of the company, right? I think I got that title right.
Yeah. He's president.
President. Funny story. We got connected with Sharon. We were talking about my buddy here, Richard. I'd never been an agent and I was going to get my license here in New York. You guys were on the West Coast. We were trying to figure out if we all work together or not. And then, Richard didn't get the funding. So we decided to work with you guys and join the team. So technically I am now an agent. Most people on this podcast don't know that, but I am now an agent and I work directly with Dean. He's part of my upline and support. And, it's been a great experience. We brought on about 15 or 20 agents. So I just want to thank everybody on that. And those of you guys that want to learn more about the agent side, definitely reach out to us on that. And we'll go a little deeper on the internal podcast on being an agent and everything like that. But I do want to hit on your other passion as well, which is the acting side. And there's a lot of people that call themselves content creators, but you've got 2.1 million followers
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
I'm one of your followers, so full disclosure, see
I
some of the
appreciate
funny
it.
videos you produce and everything
Yeah.
like that. But tell us how you grew that brand, because that's what a lot of people want to do in today's world as well. They got the artistic passion and the financial, and you got to meld the two together.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So yes, thank you for that. It's been a lot of years, working at, creating an audience that obviously wants to listen to your message and finds interest in who you are as a human being. For me, I think it was very important for me to just be really, really authentic, share that very consistently, right? You'll hear that most people who have grown their networks stay true to who they are and literally share it as humanly possible, as much as they can on different platforms. It's funny to bring up the funny videos, depending on the platform, like a TikTok and things like that. I have different types of content, still me, which they do have, the TikToks were like funny skits, and which lets me flex my acting skills, right? And with Instagram and Facebook, and it's sharing a lot of my experiences. But through the years, I've been able to connect with quite a bit of influencers, right? And where we're able to share ideas, but most importantly, share content. So as an example, Hugh may be could be a manager of an A-lister, right? Something like that. I connect with Hugh as a management, and now we're working together to potentially, do some cross promotion and things like that. So I've been blessed to work with. This is partly why I got into acting, by the way, is I used to own another company that was based around personal branding, and I got to work with a lot of management of a lot of recording artists and quite a bit of people that you would know, as far as in Hollywood. And what was interesting is they were able to, give us shout outs. Sharon has actually been a part of this as well because we owned a company together. And we essentially borrowed their audience, through the years. They were able to, lean into what we were doing and kind of recommend us. And that really helped, as you can imagine, grow my. Then from there, when you have hopefully a good message, Hugh. I know you're doing extremely well with this podcast, and you're just like Joe Rogan or anybody else. You start getting folks that are really interested and folks that may have an audience. It just kind of snowballs from there, and over the last 3-4 years. That's exactly what happened. Is they got to land on your page, but just because so and so, Brad Pitt or someone is saying go look at Hugh, it doesn't mean that people are going to stay with you. It means that you've got to do something interesting for them to stay, and I feel like I've done that over the years. And, I am blessed to have, a lot of people that do like my stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we are now with it.
See how humble Dean is. See how humble. He's like,
Yeah.
just a few little things. He's dropping golden nuggets. I don't know if you guys are all picking them up or they're doing whoosh, right?
Uh,
About partnering with people, doing different things. And we'll go deeper. If you guys go to the launchbuttonpodcast.com, you go in there, you'll have the second part of this episode, or go to YouTube, hit the hearts and hit the likes. But Dean, so let's just take a base part. You
okay.
said a couple different things on here. Number one, core value alignment is a big
Yep.
thing you look for. I mean, you and Sharon have been partners in past businesses. He became president here. He's like, hey, I need you, right? And we talk about really building relationships. And that's really what you're talking about, whether it's the social media, whether it's the real estate side, it all comes down to building strong relationships and not transactional relationships is what a lot of people do.
Yep.
Right. So do you have a few golden nuggets on building strong relationships?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head, right? I think a lot of us lean into just hitting goals and numbers, right? And look, to some degree, as we go to, my early self, right, which is no one's going to beat me at sales. The problem is if I don't build any relationships, I'm just turning and burning, man. You know what I mean? I will say that you brought up Sharon. Okay. Here's what's interesting about that relationship, and this goes to your point. I met Sharon 12 years ago before he landed at a company called TELUS, which he partially owned, right? Became CEO of the company. And I was honestly a fan of Sharon's. He was to grow, right? He went from nothing really to being arguably one of the biggest influencers in real estate right now, right? And at that time, people wanted to join TELUS mainly because of Sharon, right? Because he was such a good leader. I was no different. I went over there. I said, hey, I actually reached out to him, say, hey, I've been watching you for a while, man. I'm very impressed. I'd love to join TELUS, which was the name of the company, and just be a part of everything you had. So I did join. What's interesting is, and there was like 5 of us at that time on my team. We only stayed 6 months. It just, at that time, financially, with what we had to tell us, it didn't make any sense. But Sharon, he was he was so graceful, like letting us go, that even when we did go, he was willing to help, right? And he actually did. He put his money where his mouth was. Over the years, we always kept in touch, right? And there would be for us to work together, mastermind together, and that relationship has essentially grown into like best friends, family vacations, people coming over for Thanksgiving. But he's such a power figure now in this industry and around the world, different entrepreneurial events and things like that. That I'm to be a part of that. And with that relationship, he's opened a lot of doors for me, both at Real, but like in general, creating a business with him, things like that. That relationship arguably has really taken me to another level with my, and really a lot of different business ventures. So when it comes to relationships, you really don't know where it could lead. But if you're really to do well in business and in life, I think you have into the people that are in front of you and understand this, right? And one thing I've learned is I don't really think that everyone's an asshole. Okay. And what I mean by that is you'll know, listen, you'll run across people. I know people on this call be like, what? You run across people who are just, man, they're not your cup of tea. Right. And what I teach these days is all the time. Sometimes, yes, they're a complete asshole. Right. But a lot of times you're not catching them at the right moment. And there's been many times in my life, in my career, that I've didn't have a good feeling about someone because of the interaction, but ended up being a really, really close, having a real good relationship with that person later on. And it's just because we just maybe hit it off right. But again, you just have to lean into the relationships that are sitting in front of you. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you're right. It's not transactional, man. It's all about building good, strong relationships throughout your life.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? I mean, even with us, it took we first started talking with Sharon about I was East Coast or West Coast with you guys, doing two different brokerages at the same time, trying to doing the training that we do well. But it was like, okay, and it was a journey. We had to feel each other out because we didn't know each other, right? And I think that's where a lot of people drop the ball, is they don't follow up on those relationships because it's not instant. It's not like, hey, yeah, let's go make money. But those instant relationships also often deteriorate really fast the same way they start.
Agreed. And look, you brought something interesting. Is like, sometimes I'm not everyone's. Look, I've been in so many situations, and Hugh, I don't know, maybe with you, maybe not, right? But I'm definitely, you're in New York, right? So I'm definitely East Coast guy. I grew up in the hood. I curse like no tomorrow, as you can see on this podcast. And I think when I talk to great, leaders and people that are doing just great, in their industry and business, sometimes it's a minute for them to feel comfortable because it's not what they're used to on a daily basis, the way that they communicate in business. Right. And I get that a lot, but I think it's great, right? Because once you get down to the core of the relationship, there is a lot of trust there. And there's like, I think one of my biggest things that really changed my life and my career is just staying true to who I am. But once you do learn, hey, Dean actually knows his shit. Now, he may not communicate it the same way as Sharon, but he fucking knows his shit. You know what I mean? And I think it's great because I think people actually let me in to allow me to be myself. And I appreciate you even, trusting me to work with you, because I certainly could have come off a different way to you and we would never be having this conversation right now,
Well, no, and like that's what I believe. And sometimes the East Coast vibe makes it easier because we know each other, right? So
Right.
there's perceptions on it. There's the very corporate world where I don't tell you, all the things, or we just say it how it is, and if you can handle it, then we move forward, right?
Right.
Like, hey,
Right.
you messed up there, or I messed up here, no problem. Let's fix it. Let's move forward, right? But a lot of people, and it goes back to what you said at the beginning, a lot of people let that ego get in the way,
Right.
because you and I, being East Coast, we talk fast, in our zone of genius, and we can push people that aren't comfortable with that out and make them feel threatened
Yep.
unintentionally. You're just being you, right? And
Correct. Yep. You hit it on the head, but it's okay. Not everybody's got to love you.
so you got to find the people.
That's it.
Find your tribe, right? Some people say find your tribe, find the people you vibe with, do all of the different things here. If you guys have liked the content, make sure you follow Dean, make sure you check out his page. If you're interested in, becoming an agent, switching brokerages, Dean's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. Definitely talk to us about that. We're going to hop into the private podcast here in a second. So last chance for you guys to go to the launch button, podcast.com. Go ahead, hit there. You'll get the second part of this interview. Dean, any last parting tips for anybody that either wants to be an actor, an agent, any words of wisdom that you want to just launch them into the universe with?
Yeah, I would say both business and your passions in life, you totally should lean into. It holds a lot of people back. And, as I think you hear it a lot, right? But, failures is just, man, it's just a learning block for you to become just great. And Lord knows, Hugh, you and I have quite a bit, to get to this point. And it's not the end of the world, guys. It's only the beginning of your future.
Yeah, I so agree with that. That's a great way to end it. We always say fail fast and fail forward. The faster you can fail, the faster you can do it better, and the faster you can improve, right? And I heard somebody else, it's like if somebody gives you a criticism, take it in for a second. It might be true, it might not be, but take it in and find out why they're giving you that criticism.
Take it in. Absolutely. Yep. But I'm excited to talk to the rest of you. And thank you for listening.
Awesome.
And Hugh, let's get at it.
That's awesome, Dean. And just so everybody knows, in 2025, Dean owns me an event, whether it's New York, LA, we're going to be doing stuff together. And on the private podcast, he's going to go into personal, business, and building relationships. So some of the secrets behind acting, some of the secrets behind the real estate business, and who to build grit with and who not to. And then also on some tips for the family life, because him and his wife actually work together in the business every single day. So we'll see you guys in the private podcast, but look forward to these events, whether it's East Coast, West Coast. So everybody, this has been another episode of the Launch Button Podcast. Make sure you hit the hearts, the follows, the likes, and we'll have all that special information on the bonus section over there. If there's anything else we can do, feel free to reach out. And remember, you're just one more action, one more step away from your dream. Just keep taking the next step. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on the Launch Button Podcast, your gateway to unlocking your true potential and pursuing your passions. Don't let the journey end here. For more empowering insights, valuable resources, exclusive content, and free giveaways, visit www.thelaunchbuttonpodcast.com.